Say hello, Pearl. And she is after Dreamies. We thought we would go live, and the easiest way to get them to join me is always Dreamies. Did you want some more? Okay, I will give you another one. Hello. Hazel's just down on the floor. So I will give them one more each, and then they can have some later as well. Okay, one for you. Ow, that's my finger. And one for Hazel, who is much more polite. Right, that's enough for now. You'll have your dinner soon. If I leave the packet out, she might just attack it. So we'll see what happens. It's gone. Gone. I don't have any more. Right, I'm going to have to get started on my skincare because it's supposed to be like a little try on with new makeup, get ready with me thing, Pearl, okay? Whereas you're kind of going to be in the way. She's still down here. All right, so first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put on some of this e.l.f. Dewy Setting Spray. That surprisingly hasn't bothered Pearl. She's still after food. Okay, Pearl. And I'm going to put on some of the Ordinary Hyaluronic Acid Serum. My skin is always dry, so any little bit of extra hydration always helps. I've never done this before with a cat right on my lap the whole time, but she seemed pretty intent on staying here, so that's fine with me, Pearl. I've been really quite lazy with skincare lately, and considering that I am in my mid-30s, I probably shouldn't do that. So I've written myself a nice routine, like an AM and PM routine. I'm following the AM routine right now, even though it's gone 5 o'clock, because I haven't really applied any skincare today and I'm about to put makeup on. So again, that's the hyaluronic acid from The Ordinary. So the next step is going to be a moisturizer. This one is from Notorium. It's the Plant Ceramide Rich Moisture Cream. I think this is just like a little mini side. This is extremely thick and hydrating, so my skin absolutely loves it. I've noticed I've got more of a bit of a sensitive nose lately when it comes to products. So there is a little bit of a scent on this one, but it's not unpleasant. I think Notorium is a pretty reputable brand when it comes to skincare. And again, this is feeling really hydrating. And I'm especially trying to get around my nose. I get really dry around here, the tip of my nose, and on my forehead. That can be quite dry as well. So just massaging that in. I've still got to put on some SPF. Again, I'm trying to be as religious as I can about this and actually practice a proper skincare routine. So the next thing I'm going to use is, I've only got a little bit of this left now, the Ultravlette SPF 50 Queen Screen. So I'm just going to pour some of this out onto my hand. I can't even use the dropper anymore because there's so little of this left. A bit weird to be putting on an SPF at 5 p.m, but you know, it's all hydration. Speaking of which, my hair is looking pretty dehydrated as well. I haven't washed it today or even properly styled it because I've not really done anything other than go to the shop. I did the weekly shop in Aldi. That's my exciting life. I often do this when I have like a little bit of SPF or something or moisturizer left. I'll just like twirl a random curl that's looking particularly dry and hope for the best. So I might do a bit of hairstyling. I know absolutely nothing about hair or how to style it properly. I kind of just hope for the best. I don't use heat or anything like that on my hair because it's already fluffy enough. Okay, so that's most of my skincare done. I did some research though, and I want to use an extra step today. This is the Tatcha The Serum Stick, and apparently this is amazing for putting on spots that are extra dry on your face to make sure that they layer nicely with your makeup. So I've never even opened this before. It's a brand new product. Oh, right, that kind of looks unusual. I'm just going to put a little bit of that on my hand just to see what it feels like. Doesn't feel like much, to be honest. I'm liking the shape of this. I think this might be like kind of interesting to get around the crevices of my nose. So anything that stops my foundation from looking dry or getting patchy. Hello, thank you for joining. And I'm just going to rub that in a little bit more. So this is the Tatcha The Serum Stick, and I'm putting that on just to prevent my foundation looking dry in my extra dry areas. I'll put a little bit on here. Sometimes foundation can look a little bit dry on my forehead as well. And along my smile lines is where it tends to settle. So I'll see if this makes any difference. Again, I'm just going to sort of tap that in a little bit so it's not just sitting there. So I've never really used any Tatcha products before. I think I've got one or two other bits floating around, just samples, but so far so good. That feels pretty nice. Okay, so I'm going to give that a minute to sink in, and I'm going to do my eyebrows first. I'm going to start off with the Glossier Boy Brow in the shade Brown. Someone said they're getting it as soon as humanly possible. I don't know if I can totally recommend it, but it certainly felt nice on my skin, and it does feel like hydrating. I'm looking pretty shiny now before everything sort of sinks in, so that's why I thought I'd give everything a chance to settle, and I'll just put something through my eyebrows so I don't look a bit bald in that area. I have very few eyebrow hairs naturally. Give me a thumbs up if you are in the thin eyebrow club. I have naturally 90s eyebrows without ever needing to pluck them. It's a bit sad, especially when thick eyebrows have been all the rage now for years. Some of us are just not naturally gifted in that way. So it's a bit sad really because this is an amazing product, but it can only really work where you actually have eyebrow hairs. So if there's nothing for it to cling to, you're not really getting a whole lot of a difference there. Very nice at the front of the brows there. I've already been through an entire one of these and I've bought it in another color. I weirdly bought the gray one and it's kind of just more of a taupe color than anything. Yes, I'm Irish. Okay, then to finish off sort of the back of my eyebrow where it tails off, I'm going to take this NYX Lift and Snatch brow pen in the shade Ash Brown. I've used this 1,000 times and I can still never remember the name of it. I had a bit of an accident with it on a flight recently where it pretty much exploded on my hands and I didn't even have a tissue or anything. Viva Ireland, yeah, definitely. So I'm doing my best to try and make this look natural. I probably should have propped my mirror up. I'm now just randomly holding it in my hand. I'll prop it up in a second. This is alive. This isn't supposed to be perfect. Thank you very much, Lily. So I believe it's called central heterochromia when you have a different color around your pupil than you do on the outside. So as you can see, I've got kind of like a browny, yellowy color around the center and then like a bluish color. But from further back, they look kind of just dirty green color. But I believe this is relatively rare around the world, but it's quite common in the area of Europe that I live in. Lots of people have weird colored eyes. So, right, so I'm going to leave my brows there for a while. I will come back to them, they're not finished. I've had a bit of a foundation collection explosion lately. I think this is what happens when you start doing YouTube. You just go a bit mad and you want to try everything and you want to review everything. So my latest pickup was from Max Factor and it's their Miracle Pure Skin Reset 2-in-1 Serum Foundation. Again, anything with serum in the name, I'm pretty much sold if it's going to be hydrating. Oh, I'm going to shake it actually before I use it. That's all my bracelets jangling. And while I'm waiting for that to settle, I'm going to just get a couple of boxes and prop up my mirror because I've been totally disorganized today and haven't actually prepped the area that I'm working in. So My mirror is now at a higher level. Okay, so this is the foundation I'm using. If you've just joined me, it's the Skin Reset 2-in-1 Serum Foundation from Max Factor. I haven't tried it before. It's got one of these awful droppers that I hate because you really can't control how much foundation's coming out, at least not very well. I'm just going to put some on the back of my hand. As I say, I've never used it, so I don't really know how much I'm going to need. The consistency is extremely runny. Hey, nice to see you. Okay, so I'm going to throw that on with a brush before it runs off my hand. So let's give this new Max Factor Serum Foundation a go, especially after I put on so much hydrating skincare. Surely I won't look dry and cakey. Definitely smells makeup-y, not necessarily in a bad way. I know a lot of people hate any kind of scent in their products. For me, I can definitely detect scent, but as long as it's not too overbearing, I can cope with it. The only one I've ever found that I couldn't handle at all was the Jones Road Foundation Balm product. That was so overpowering, which is such a shame because it was so pretty on the skin. So this one's okay. It definitely has a scent, but it's, you know, not knocking me over or anything like that. It's starting to just look like a lot of the other skin tints that are around at the moment. So the e.l.f. one, I've tried a couple of others now. I'm trying to remember the Urban Decay Hydromaniac, the Maybelline one. A lot of them do look quite similar. Like even the MAC Serum Foundation. This one's probably a bit glowier than that. But yeah, I think they all fall into this medium coverage, slightly dewy finish sort of category, I would say. A lot of similar products at the moment. I think that's just kind of the fashion of the day, isn't it? Skin tints. Okay, so I'm just having a look in the mirror to see where I need a bit more coverage. I wouldn't say this is giving me any special amount of coverage. Again, it's quite a light skin tint type formula. Doesn't appear to be sitting in any lines yet, but we'll give it time when my face starts to crease. Very easy to blend in, very smooth on the skin. Would probably work really nicely with a sponge as well, but you'd have to use a bit more product. So I'm not going to do any concealer until I've done my eyeshadow. I don't even know what I'm going to do with my eyeshadow. Probably just something quite simple because I'm a bit lazy. I'm really into like shadow sticks at the moment. So if you've been watching me lately, I've been using a lot of the Bobbi Brown ones. I've been using Laura Mercier. I've got a new one actually from L'Oreal that's quite pretty as well. I'm going to try and use something that I've not used yet on camera. So that would probably be, I got a recent one from Bobbi Brown. I pick up a lot of stuff on Vinted for a lot less than the retail price. So if you see me using one of these shadow sticks, I did not pay £30 for it. I probably got it for a tenner. Vinted is a really good place for finding things secondhand that are completely new. You have to have brand new products if you want to sell them on Vinted if they are cosmetics. Otherwise, they will get taken down. So you can kind of rest assured that the products are new when you buy them from there. I mean, there's probably a few people breaking the rules here and there, but generally speaking, things are brand new in box. So anything that comes from like unwanted beauty advent calendars or subscription boxes, a lot of it ends up on there because people will sell them secondhand. Or you know, influencers that get a lot of foundations and things in the wrong colors, they'll also sell them on there as well. I'm just going to blend out that Bobbi Brown eyeshadow stick in taupe with a Real Techniques brush. So when I ordered this one, I did order it from Vinted, and I thought the shade taupe would be a lot less warm than it appears on me, particularly when you blend this out. This taupe color is definitely more in the neutral family, if even leaning a little bit warm. Whereas I would think of taupe in my mind as like a cool, mushroomy color. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Shadow sticks are fantastic. They're so simple to use. They're a fail-safe. They last all day. I've never really had any problems with shadow sticks wearing off. They might look a little bit less vibrant by the end of the day, but all of the product that you've applied is definitely still there. Again, I feel like you don't have to be too neat with these. You can even just blend them out with your fingers if you need to. Again, if I feel like I've put, a bit too much on one side or whatever, I'll just even it out. I think I need a little bit more over here. It might just be the way the light is hitting me as well. So it kind of looks even in the mirror, but then the camera is telling a slightly different story, but it doesn't really matter. Again, sometimes it's nice to have that kind of slightly imperfect look. I feel like Samantha Chapman from Pixie Woo kind of pioneered that for a long time. And although, Instagram style makeup and perfect makeup is kind of the modern trend, she still continues to do that. So I feel a bit better about my slightly messy makeup. Right, so I like a little extra definition on my eyes. So I'm going to go in with this Eeko pencil eyeliner in the shade brown. It's just like a standard brown. It's not super warm and it's not super cool. It's just somewhere in the middle. So with this warm leaning taupe shade, I think that will be nice. So again, I'm kind of just sloppily putting it along my top lash line and a tiny bit at the bottom because I'm just going to smoke out the whole thing. Oh wow, yeah, I remember the shark skin. They were the shade sticks, the MAC shade sticks. Yeah, they have been discontinued for a long time, which is really, really sad. They need to bring those back for sure. Right, so there's actually like one of these little blending things on the end of the pencil, so I'm just going to be using that to blend it out. It's basically like a little rubber almost, like you would use for a pencil. And then again, just being very lazy. I'm not even really looking at what I'm doing. I'm just smudging the edges. Again, doesn't need to be perfect. I'll probably go in again and try and get right into my lashes because I can see I may have missed one or two spots. Again, half of this will be hidden when I'm wearing mascara anyway. I used to really love the MAC paint pots, but most of my favorite colors have now been discontinued, which is really, really sad. A lot of the best MAC products are now gone or slowly being discontinued. It makes me really sad. I don't think it's the exciting brand that it used to be many moons ago. And I feel like a lot of brands that are around today, they all just copy each other all the time. One person brings out a glowy, blurring blush, and then so does everybody else. So maybe I'm just cynical. Maybe it's really exciting and, I'm just old and stuffy now. But I miss when makeup was all about the eyes. Everything now seems to be very blush focused. Yeah, exactly. The innovation is gone. Makeup doesn't feel that exciting anymore. I guess maybe it's like they're trying to reinvent the wheel or something because there are only so many different combinations of colors and palettes and things like that. I guess the innovation comes with formulas. So I've got a really exciting product to review actually. Hopefully I'll do it this weekend. I'll just show you it now so you can know to stay tuned in for it. It's the House Labs, pardon me, Triclone Skin Tech Foundation. I can't wait to try this because this is meant to be different from pretty much any other foundation on the market. I already really love the matching concealer, so that's something new that I'll actually be able to try. The last formula that I felt I tried that was really, really different from anything else was the Shiseido Revitalescence. Um, so it'll be nice to try something again that is meant to be totally, totally different from anything else, rather than, here's another pink sparkly blush that's the same in Rare Beauty or Fenty or Hourglass or any of the others. So I've kind of blended that until it's almost nothing, but then I still feel like there's definition around my eyes. I'm gonna throw on some mascara and then I'll probably do the rest of my face and come back to the eyes to see if I want to put anything else on. I'm gonna use my Shiseido eyelash curler. This was kind of a bit of a splurge. It was 26 quid for an eyelash curler, but I do feel like it makes a huge difference. It's strange thinking about like the differences between different eyelash curlers. I'm no expert, but I did do some research before I bought this one and it is highly rated and it seems to fit my eye shape quite well. So I have seen eyelash curlers where they're like little tiny ones and you have to like curl each section of your lashes individually. I kind of love that idea, or maybe just a part of me really loves it, like the old me from like, 15, 20 years ago who used to separate all her eyelashes with pins. Yeah, I was a bit mad. But that's the level I used to take things to. I wanted everything to be so perfect, and I would easily spend 1 to 2 hours applying my makeup for university. I guess I had the time. I was doing an arts course, but I just loved it, and I loved, I guess, being that little bit self-indulgent and thinking about my outfits. And I would be like texting, my friends or whoever, and I would have music on, and it was just me time. Yeah, totally agree with you. There was all the dazzle shadows, even all the pigments. Like, does anyone else remember MAC pigments and glitters? And I don't just mean the holiday sets that they kind of just regurgitate every year now. I'm talking about like things like melon pigment, blue black pigment, reflex transparent teal, like all these crazy things that no one else was doing. Like it was real artistry. And although it was kind of wasteful to buy, one of these massive pots and you would never finish it, for a makeup artist, for example, it would be phenomenal, especially anybody that was, doing like makeup for stage or theater or anything like that. Television, maybe, although again, I don't really know when you'd be using transparent teal, but you never know. Yeah, so Blue Black was a really good one, and it was kind of similar to Club. And for someone as clumsy as me, I think using Club eyeshadow because it was in a pressed form was better. So I didn't really tend to use a lot of pigments. I really liked oh, what was it called? The pink one. It was like Pink Freeze or something. No, that was an eyeshadow. There was a white one that had a reflective pink, and then I also had Frost, which was kind of chunky. And I had one with a blue reflect as well. I can't believe I've forgotten half of the names. That's really embarrassing. I used to really love all of these products, but I guess there's only like so much space in your head for products. God, I've not even said what I'm using here. This is the Benefit FanFest mascara. I really enjoy this one, and it's one of those mascaras where you're better off to just do like one mega layer rather than trying to wait for it to dry in between coats. I don't find like you get much flexibility with this. Once it's completely set, it's difficult to put an extra coat on, but it really does give you a lot of volume. And then combined with the Shiseido eyelash curlers, I do really enjoy how my lashes look with this, and I don't always feel the need for eyeliner or liquid liner afterwards, which was, kind of my thing for about 20 years. Okay, so that's just top lash line done. This looks so boring, but no, you're not distracting me at all. I'm enjoying it. You spilled it all over your floor. Yes, we've all been there. We've all destroyed a carpet with makeup. I think I did it with like a chunk of lipstick that like fell off because I pressed it too hard. That ended up in the carpet. Yeah, never to come out again. So yeah, this eyeshadow look is kind of boring. So why don't we, inspired by our MAC nostalgia, find something interesting to put on it? So here's another piece of nostalgia. I only got this recently if you watched my haul. This is the Jaclyn Hill palette from Morphe. I was seeing everyone rave about all the new Morphe palettes and like they seem to be trying to, bring themselves up in the world and be, a more respectable brand. But I was like, no, let's go back to where you really came from, which was influencer collabs that were, questionable afterwards. And I'm going to go for some sparkly shades. I'm going to go very predictably for this sparkly brown. And I'm just going to take that on my ring finger and apply it over the Bobbi Brown. just to make my makeup a bit less boring. Oh, that's really nice over the top. Probably should have done this before mascara. I'm probably squashing my eyelashes now, but you know, when you're feeling inspired, you should just go for things. That's proving to be both a really beautiful base and it's sort of blending out with it as well. Right, let me try and do the other eye. Yeah, that looks far more interesting now. There's some really nice colors in here. I mean, it was pretty much untouched when I got it. It looked like it maybe had one or two colors swatched. Again, this was another vintage purchase that I got for almost nothing. I mean, I've probably used more eyeshadow there than anyone else has done. 90% of these eyeshadows have never been touched. And again, eyeshadow is really easy to sanitize. If it was a lipstick or whatever, I wouldn't buy that secondhand. But yeah, I'm quite impressed with the pigment on that actually. I'm just going to take the same blending brush that I used to blend out the Bobbi Brown shadow stick and I'm going to go around the edges just so it doesn't look harsh. I feel like the more I blend out this shadow stick, the warmer it's becoming, but it doesn't look bad, so I'm not mad at it. All right, so we'll leave that there for now. I'm quite impressed with how this skin tint is sitting on my face, actually. It looks incredibly natural. I'm kind of tempted to see if it can be built up, though. So again, if you've just joined me recently, this was the Max Factor skin tint. I used a reasonable amount, I would say, on the back of my hand. I'm going to just put maybe 1 to 3, yeah, we'll go for 3 extra drops and we'll see if we can get any more coverage out of that because I'm just interested. I don't think it's you know, looking bad or anything. I'm just sort of curious. So I'm going to put a little bit more here. Yeah, it hasn't oxidized actually. I'm kind of impressed with this. And it looks really like smooth. It hasn't sat into my smile lines, which most products do. Um, yeah, it's looking pretty good. Let's see if we can beef it up a bit. I think I have a little bit of fallout under my eye. There we go. I generally try not to put foundation under my eye because I tend to put a lot of concealer there instead. Yeah, you're not getting, I don't think you're ever going to get heaps of coverage with this, but it's really pretty. I like the glow and the shade match is excellent. So if you're about an NW5 in MAC or what else could I give you a reference for? The Fenty Eavesdrops in #1. I also wear Lisa Eldridge in shade 2. I'm trying to give you some more references that are good matches for me. I'm 110 Alabaster in Shiseido. So yeah, if you are a similar shade to me, the lightest shade of the Max Factor will be perfect for you. I'm going to go in with the House Labs concealer now. I always want to call this the Hourglass concealer. There's something about the two names. I get them confused in my head. So I've actually got this one in the shade 4 Fair Neutral. For anyone who is thinking about buying the House Labs foundation that I mentioned earlier, they swap the undertones a bit like MAC do. So the warm shades actually have pink undertones and the cool shades have yellow undertones. So if that hopefully will prevent anyone from choosing the wrong shade, I hope it will. Because, you know, House Labs foundations are £42. You don't want to be making any mistakes there and getting the wrong shade. I believe in the States you can return products. Is that correct? Because they don't really have any testers in like drugstores and whatever. But here in the UK, it's not really the done thing to bring things back. I don't know if you'd be able to. It would probably have to be unopened, and you can't really know if something is the wrong shade match unless you try it out. So, but yeah, I always have this weird thing where I want to say Hourglass concealer, but it's not. It's House Labs. I do constantly mix those two names up. Okay, so I'm gonna get some setting powder. This is the Catrice Under Eye Brightener. I've used this before. However, I did bring it on a plane with me, and now most of it has come out of the, what would you call them, like the little holes in the top. So most of it is just sitting here at the top. So I'm going to apply that with a brush rather than with a little puff triangle. Let me find the brush that I want. Again, I could have been a lot more organized about all of this, but you know, I just wanted to come on and film, so I wasn't. So I'm gonna tap most of that off because I tend to get a little bit of a pink under eye otherwise. You don't want to overdo it. On most people this would be, you know, not visible, but because my skin is the color of paper, you can actually see pink powders on me. Because this isn't like a review or anything of the Max Factor, I am going to set it. I'm not trying to like test it or anything. And now I have powder all over my hands. The two cats have scarpered as well since I stopped giving them dreamies. But if anybody would like to see the cats, I will shake the dreamy packet and I'm sure they will come back in. Okay. So that's all looking pretty nice now. Somebody wants to see cats? Absolutely, yeah. Okay. Let's see how long this takes. Oh, I hear jingling. They're both coming. Hello. Oh, you're both here. Yeah, you totally deserve a treat. Are you gonna come up and get a treat? Come on. Everybody wants to see you. Ooh, I'm knocking stuff everywhere. But Pearl is here. She's so chunky. There's your treat. Good girl. Please don't bite my finger. Oh, she was quite delicate that time, actually. And Hazel is much more polite. She's just sitting on the ground patiently waiting for a treat, whereas Pearl is much more demanding. Aren't you? There's one for Hazel. Let Hazel have one. Hazel. No, it's all about Pearl today. I think it's just Pearl that's going to come up. Yes. Everyone wants to see you. Yeah, I knew she'd do that, which is why I didn't tilt the camera. She just wants a cuddle. Right. I will give you your dinner in about an hour, okay? But you've definitely had enough dreamies because you've had about 4 each. All right. You can stay and sit in my lap if you want, Pearl. But I am going to be talking. Hazel sits on my lap a lot of the time, but she doesn't like when I'm talking and she's sat on my lap. So if I get a phone call, Hazel's off. Right. Pearl is vacated. They'll probably both just wander around in the background for a little while. I'll keep this bit free here in case they decide to make an appearance. Sometimes Hazel will jump up on my dressing table as well and walk along if she's feeling like she wants some attention. Pearl is definitely the star of the show. She's been very cute today. So Pearl, the one that's just jumped up on me, is much more attached to my husband actually, and Hazel is more my cat. So cats always have their own little favorites. I'm just going back in with a bit more of that cocoa sort of shade, the brown shade from the Eeko. You don't really hear a lot about Eeko these days, do you? I don't feel like they've kind of launched anything big in a while. I remember you used to be able to get their products in ASOS, but you don't see them in a lot of shops or anything. Oh, I'm dropping stuff everywhere now. Oh, that's so cute. Oh, they've not really shown any interest in makeup, my two, just dreamies. But they're amazing, amazing company. I work from home and I absolutely love having them here with me every day. I'm very fortunate that I can do that and have such nice company. I'm going to use the MAC Extended Play Giga Black Lash on my bottom eyelashes. I don't really know where I'm going tonight. I don't think I'm going anywhere, so I'll probably end up taking all of this off in a little while and just having a bath or something. But it's fun to put makeup on. I haven't worn proper makeup pretty much all week, We were in Norway last weekend for a long weekend. We got back late Monday night, and all I've really been doing is sort of catching up with housework and bits of work, and not really been out and about so much. We did go to the cinema. We went to see the new Naked Gun film. Um, I won't give any spoilers away. I would just say that it's worth watching, but it's not got the magic of Leslie Nielsen. I mean, how could it? But I think it's as good as they could make it without him. So if you do enjoy the Naked Gun trilogy, it is worth watching. And I think they made the best version that they could, really. So it's worth a watch. I did see some trailers for some other good films coming out. I do like to go and see things like horrors in the cinema. I just feel like they have much more impact. So yeah, and I mean, as you come into the autumn, I always find that the films are a bit better. I'm going to use the e.l.f. Camo Liquid Bronzer and Contour in the shade Fair. And I'm going to just put some of that out on my hand, probably too much, but even though there's only like 4 ml of product, I don't think I'll ever end up using all of this up. And I'm going to take a different brush. This is another Real Techniques one. This is the Deluxe Crease brush. There's something special about liquid contour. I feel like for anyone with dry skin, it's just amazing, rather than adding an extra layer of powder to your face that you just don't need. Yeah, totally. Heavy metal and horror films just go so well together. And I love when like certain bands use like sounds, like sound clips from horror films in their songs. I can't talk and contour apparently. Sorry. So there's nothing like streamlining your own face with a bit of magical contour. So if you can get the right shade, I honestly think this is one of the things that makes the biggest difference to your makeup. I'm building it up very gradually. Thank you very much. Shout out to White Zombie. Yes, absolutely. I was actually thinking about getting a White Zombie tattoo at some point, but I'm still kind of in the middle of this half sleeve design that is very expensive and painful. So it'll probably be a while before I have anything else. So the inner bicep, oh my God, the most painful thing in the world that I've ever experienced. Now, I haven't experienced childbirth or anything like that, so I'm not going to make any claims that it's worse than that. I'm sure someone will probably come along and tell me like, you think you felt pain. And I'm sure you're probably right. But yeah, inner bicep was pretty fucking bad. I'm not going to lie. So yeah, that's probably the most painful thing that I will ever experience, as I am planning to stay childless. My husband's already had a vasectomy, so the chance of me getting pregnant is pretty much zero. I don't know why I feel like I'm writing a diary or something. No one really needed to know that. He won't mind. He's not shy. So yes, I love making my forehead look smaller with contour. Let's go back to the actual makeup talk. I think it's something that takes a really long time to get right. And even when you've been doing it for many years and tried it many times, it can still go wrong. Like I'm looking at this now and I still think it's somehow looking a little bit patchy in places. But then it's kind of a less is more thing with contour, I think. So you're better off just using a small amount, because even when you think you use a small amount, you've probably used more than you think. Like mine is definitely on my face right now. And it's so hard to get a shade match that doesn't look orange, especially if you're fair. Like this one looks so cool when I look at it here, but it looks a lot warmer, in my opinion, in real life on my face. And I feel like I can never stop blending it. I'll probably still be blending it with my fingers if I go out, I'm not planning to go out, but you never know, I might go for a walk or something. That's probably all this makeup is going to see, is maybe around, my neighborhood. Okay, so I'm not really sure what else to do with this makeup actually. I suppose blush and highlighter, we might as well go all the way. I'm gonna pull out some old highlighter that I've not used in ages because all I keep using at the moment is the little rhodial one that I've got, and I'm gonna run out, so I have such a round face like a baby. Well, I'm trying to hide my mega five head. Like it's literally a 5 finger forehead. So trust me, the more you do it, the better you get at it, and I'm sure it does make a difference. Just keep going with it. We'll carve it out to the max. The other thing is having a rounder face makes you look more youthful because you might have seen with all these people having this like buccal fat removal, it makes them look a lot older. So maybe having a rounder or a more heart-shaped face is a blessing in disguise because you'll still get ID'd everywhere you go. I've noticed that my face has definitely hollowed out over the years. Right, I have no idea what highlight to pick. I actually don't have as many as I thought. I'm gonna use, oh, let's go for a lovely discontinued classic. This is the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in the shade Pearl. And I thought that would be nice. An ode to my pearl. You can see it's quite close to hitting pan. This is old. I've had this for a long time. And I'm just going to throw that on with the same brush that I used for my under eye powder. Now these are powerful powders. These were like in the sort of 2016, 2017 era where everyone was wearing highlight and looked like Tin Man. So just bear that in mind if you ever get your hands on one of these or you pull it out of your drawer and you're like, oh yeah, I used to love this. They're pretty damn intense. That is the dream, getting ID'd when you are over 30. Like, all I get now is the wry smile. I never get ID'd. They come over at the self-service counters and they're like, oh, isn't that funny? The computer thinks that you're under 25. I don't. You can see the pity in their eyes, you know. But it's fun, you know. I always found that once you actually hit 18, there wasn't that much of a thrill to buying things like alcohol anymore. And the fact now that you need like ID to buy a Monster is even funnier. That's all I was buying today, and I still had to get ID'd. So if you're getting ID'd by actual people, good for you. It's only the automatic machines looking for approval for me. I'm just using a Q-tip to get any foundation, there's quite a bit actually, off my lips. I like to apply my lipstick color first sometimes and then choose a blush to match it. So I have no idea what to use. While I was in Norway, I did actually try to find a new blush, sorry, not a new blush, a new lipstick to buy to kind of commemorate the trip, but like I just couldn't find anything special and I didn't want to spend money just for the sake of it, so I didn't end up getting anything. But I might use that money to buy a lipstick somewhere else. We'll see. I was looking for like Norwegian brands and things like this, but there just wasn't a lot. I found Makeup Store, which I believe is a Swedish brand, but they only had like a very small counter and it was mainly like random trios of eyeshadows. It looked like it hadn't evolved in the last couple of decades, which is a shame because I remember people like, I think it was Nikki Tutorials used to use that brand a long time ago. There's a photo of me from around then that my husband likes to say I look like Data from Star Trek. Brilliant. All right. Right, let's see what we can do for a lipstick combination. I'm terrible for just doing the same things all the time. So what I might do is use a classic lipstick, but then put a gloss on top of it. So here we have Russian Red. You can say that I like this lipstick. Yes, I do have another one because at one point I thought I lost this and I bought another one, but it turned out I'd lent it to my sister and then just forgot about it. So this is the original. I do have another one, but they're both in the old formula. They're not the maximal ones. I'm still not sure how I feel about all the reformulations, especially because most of the colors have changed. I was actually going to film like a quick reel about the difference between the old and the new cream cup, but it's so heartbreaking. Like my old 2000s color is just gone forever and they have nothing similar. Very, very sad. I do like the new color of cream cup, but it's so much warmer. I might as well just show you now. I don't know why I'm saving it for a reel. I can show you guys now if anyone's interested. So I've got the new one. I've just picked that up in my hand. I find it's weird that the bullets are so big now. and I've got the old one. So there you can see the new one is here and the old one is here. So I'll swatch the original first. This is all I've got left now of the only lipstick where I've gone through, I think, about 5 bullets. So this is the original Cream Cup in the cream sheen formula, which in my opinion was MAC's best ever formula, apart from maybe Amplified. And then this is the new one. This is in the satin, Maximal Sleek Satin Lipstick, okay? So again, the one at the bottom is the original, and then I'm gonna, oh, I better get all this cream contour off my hand, otherwise it's gonna be a bit confusing. And then I'm gonna swatch the new one just above the original. So here, it's just a completely different color. It really, really looks much warmer on the lips even than it's showing up here. I might put this one on actually. I was going to use Russian Red, but maybe I should just try this one and we'll see what you guys think. It's definitely got pigment. I've got no issue with that, but I prefer the shiny cream sheen glass sort of finish because I've never really enjoyed lip gloss very much. So it was nice to get that shiny, hydrating, balmy finish. Like, can you see how warm this is on me? I look a bit mad, honestly. And like Cream Cup was my favorite lipstick of all time. I have a coffee cup from when I was 18, 19, 20, so at university, but I was still living at home. And that coffee cup is stained with Cream Cup lipstick because it was my everyday and I used to drink so much coffee. So I still have the mug and it's stained. So yeah, this is looking way too warm on me. So I'm thinking I'm going to pair it with a lip liner. So I've got Stone in my hand, but I feel like I always use Stone. I've also got MAC Dervish and I've got, okay, magenta's definitely not going to work. Maybe we should try Dervish with it because as far as I remember, Dervish is like a cool pink. So I'm just going to swatch Dervish above it. Yeah, maybe that'll work. I feel like maybe it needs sharpening though. Yeah. So I have this little NYX sharpener that's brilliant. The reason I bought this one many years ago is because it fits the NYX jumbo eyeshadow pencils really well. And still does, even though I don't really use those anymore. Yeah, I'm not really loving this either. Maybe I should have done the lip liner first, but hey, it's experimentation, isn't it? I'm gonna wipe that off. I think it looks dreadful. Sorry if I look a bit overexposed. The sun is like sort of moving and it suddenly got very bright. I think there's like, it's come from behind a cloud, even though it's like nearly 6 o'clock in the evening. If you live in the UK, you know that the weather changes here about 12 times a day. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of this lipstick. I think it looks weird. What a shame. I have tried it with, I think it was a LOreal lip liner, and that looked nice enough, but it's just not my old favorite. Let's go back to the original idea. I think Russian Red is always a good shout. Everybody loves Russian Red. It's meant to be the color that Gwen Stefani used or uses from MAC. I believe the formulation, or sorry, the color in the new formulation is quite similar to the original. So I always much preferred this to Ruby Woo because the formula wasn't so dry. So I've put on a layer of that, but I've not gone right to the edges because I'm going to put something else around the edge. I've got this really pretty Ilamasa pencil. What shade is this? Severity. It's kind of a cool name. So this will cool Russian Red down a little bit and make my teeth look whiter. This needs a sharpen as well because I do use it quite a lot. Really nice pencil, and I think you were supposed to get this as a free gift if you bought a lipstick, but the lady who served me, I bought a blush and she just gave me one anyway, which was really nice. The silence of lip liner. I said earlier that I've never really been a lip gloss girl, and that's still true, but I'm trying to enjoy it more now, mainly because formulas have improved so much since I started wearing makeup over 20 years ago. They're not this sticky, gloopy formula anymore where your lips get stuck together and it all sticks to your hair. I got this as a free like gift with purchase. It's just a L'Oreal lip gloss, and I thought I would have absolutely no use for it, but it's so, so pretty. I don't want to get this totally covered with red, so I'm just going to put some of it out on my hand. I'm probably taking too much, but it doesn't look like a lot on my hand. The wand is really cool as well. It looks like you kind of blow bubbles with it or something, but obviously we won't be doing that. So this just imparts this really pretty blue shimmer, and anything again with a cool undertone makes your teeth look whiter. And it's not sticky at all. So like lip glosses have clearly moved on, and I just had this old-fashioned idea in my head. I also think that anything glossy makes your lips look bigger and therefore kind of more youthful. You won't see me ever getting any lip filler. I just think they look kind of weird. No offense to anybody that's into it, but it's not for me. Oh, yeah. So that one, I've definitely been interested in it, and I favorited it a few times actually on Vinted, because it's quite difficult to get Colourpop here in the UK. And I would like to try it, but I just have so many eyeshadow palettes that already don't really get any love. And now the fact that my foundation collection is full to bursting, I kind of feel like I need to put myself on maybe not a complete no buy, but definitely a low buy for the rest of the year, especially with things like Christmas coming up, and we've all got lots of people to buy for. I certainly don't need any more makeup, so I won't be buying any eyeshadow palettes anytime soon, but you never know, something on a very special deal would certainly tempt me. Right, so I think it's just blush now. I'm going to pick out, again, another trip down memory lane. Why don't I pick out a MAC Mineralized Skin Finish? This one is in the shade Blonde, not the most appropriate, seeing as I've just, changed the color of my hair. But I'm going to put some of this on as well. And I'm using a Sigma collaboration brush. This was one of the ones that they did with Samantha Ravindale. It was quite a nice set, but I wish that the brushes were a bit more densely packed. However, all the eyeshadow brushes were really tiny, so they were great if you have like quite small eyes like I do. That's ended up a bit low, so I'm going to go back in with my foundation brush to kind of neaten that up. That was my fault completely. It's not the product. Sometimes I find I'm just a bit careless with cheap products. It's like I don't have any patience for them. Okay. Oh, that's so satisfying. Yeah, that looks a lot better. I might just put some setting spray on. Again, just to look hydrated. And I might stick with a thinner brow look, actually. I think it looks quite nice. And I don't want to look too crazy or full on, even if it is just me hanging around the house with the cats. I'm going to try a product in my hair. I know nothing about hair, I really don't. So if anyone can advise me, if you've got curly hair as well, please do help me. This is the Curlsmith Moisture Recipe Curl Conditioning Oil-in Cream. Now my hair is curly, but it is also quite fine, and I have a feeling that this is just too heavy for it. So I may be donating this to a friend, as her daughter has much thicker, luscious, curlier hair than me. So I think I'll give this one last try, and if it doesn't work out, then B can have it, because she's got fantastic curly hair. So it's certainly rich and creamy. I just don't know if it's too heavy for my very fine hair. Like if you see my hair when it's wet, like there's just nothing of it. Yeah, and all these kind of ringlets all sort of get stuck together, and I feel like that makes my hair look even less thick. It's just kind of thin, but you know, I would probably say it's kind of fine. Yeah, fine is exactly the right word. My tip is to apply a product when hair is wet. Yeah, totally agree with you. However, when I sleep, even if I have a bonnet on or whatever, because I've been trying the bonnet life recently, my curls just get kind of wrecked, and like some of them will like spring up really short like they do at the back, and then at the front they'll just be sort of like this. So I feel like I have to put something in it the next day. So do you like re-wet your hair the next day and put more products in, or how do you style your second day hair? Because I'm just clueless. My hair used to just hold better. I think it's because I used to use a lot of gel, but my hair was much thicker back then when I was a teenager. So clearly I'm going through some sort of mid-30s thinning phase. Yeah, like what is this? This isn't even a proper curl now. It's just lank. So all advice welcome from anybody. Doesn't have to be someone with curly hair. It could be just somebody that knows about hair in general. Because I know nothing. Manuel, I know nothing. I know a little bit about makeup, but hair has always been a mystery to me. And I was that kid at school whose mum just brushed their curly hair out. So it just looked completely frizzy all the time with no definition. And I had no idea why my hair was like that or what was wrong with my hair. There are some horrible, horrible photos. It wasn't my mum's fault. My mum has straight hair, so she just didn't know what to do with it. Obviously, you know you're supposed to brush your hair and keep it neat and tidy and tied up for school, but as a straight haired person, she didn't really know how to style my curly hair when I was young, and I kind of just had to figure it out on my own as a teenager, which I eventually did. But you know, there's definitely some photos that are never going to be seen by other human eyes ever again. Misting spray bottle to refresh and then scrunch and leave to air dry. Oh, I want to take your advice for sure, but I just don't know if my hair will be that cooperative. When you say a misting spray bottle, is that just pure water, or is it like a product that you've bought to mist with it? Because I've seen like these, there's so many products out now, which makes it even harder. I've seen these like second day hair sprays, and you know, even if you walk into Boots now or Superdrug, they even have curly hair sections. And I'm like, what is all of this? I think it's marvelous, but I don't really know what to do with any of it. I feel like I just missed the boat when it came to hair because, you know, all the like teenagers now have, you know, YouTube, TikTok, and they're all like really clued in on how to style their curly hair. I've actually seen when I've been doing supply and stuff, girls misting each other's hair with the spray bottles like you're talking about, and I'm like, why did no one teach me any of this? When did this become the done thing? So I basically learned a hair secret from another girl in my year. I just overheard a conversation where she was saying that she used the Boots curl cream. I've actually still got it. I've been using it for ever since I was about 13. It's 2 quid in Boots. So I put that in and I scrunch it after I have a shower, and that's pretty much all I do. But it doesn't seem to hold it as well the next day. Just water, it reactivates the power from the. Ah, okay. I'll give it a go. I still feel like mine might need a bit more help, but I want to believe that you're right. And I actually do just have a random bottle of water, but I tend to just use it for my face. It's an old Lush toner bottle, so I just like rinsed it out really well. So I'll give that. So I need a gel for hold. Okay. I don't think I have any gel. I used to use the VO5 one when I was younger. Maybe I need to like buy it again and have that nostalgic smell. Okay, so you would suggest a curl creaming product and then a gel over it and then scrunch and then reactivate the next day. This sounds like a plan. Okay. Does anyone else find that their curly hair just springs up so much that it never looks long as well? I mean, my hair is mid-length, don't get me wrong. It's not super, super long, but it's almost impossible to grow because whenever I trim it, even the tiniest amount, it'll spring up loads. Yeah, that's right. I am pretty white. Yes, the Reddits. They're so good, but I feel like everyone knows all these crazy curl routines and I'm just a bit of a novice. But I will read up on it. I'm gonna try the activation thing, seeing as I literally have a bottle like this right here. So thank you for your advice. I really appreciate it. And again, if I don't have to buy any more new products, awesome. I'll just buy some VO5 gel like I used to. Do you remember the one in like the red tube? So yeah, I used to use this and then I would like scrunch it out once it was dry, which took hours. My hair takes forever to dry. What kind of porosity is that? I don't know. And then after I broke the cast, I would then put in some gel wherever I felt like it was a bit frizzy still, because of course lots of people used to tell me when my hair was frizzy, so that was not very nice. So I kind of had a thing about it for a long time, in case people were making fun of me. As an adult, you kind of stop caring, and I've had lots of different hairstyles since, long, short, etc., in different colors. But yeah, I just kind of want to keep it classic now. I'm trying to grow all the dye out of it, so you can see that my own color is a bit more of an ash brown. I do need to tone this, it's quite warm. But anyway, that was a big hair rant. Thank you very much for your hair advice. I will persevere. It definitely looks a bit better than I thought, actually, with that oiling cream. So yeah, I'm going to leave it here because I've just hit an hour. I've so enjoyed doing this, and thank you for all of the lovely comments, questions, etc. And I will film a proper video for you fairly soon. I think I'll probably enjoy the weekend and then maybe do something short. I might do a proper video for that, travesty of a cream cup change, if you were looking at that with a lipstick. And I'll film a review of the House Labs foundation and have that up for you next week, because I know people will be interested. So I hope you have a fantastic evening, whatever you're doing. I'll probably be really boring and maybe watch a film and then have a bath because I'm home alone tonight and cuddle up to the cats. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.